Good morning, ladies, and happy Wednesday. Rise on up. It's the start of a brand new day. Let's go. Coming live from the car rider line. Tired. Definitely tired today, but we're going to get through it too because today we have potluck at work. A lot of preparation. I have credit card reconciliations to do for HQ. I have other projects I can't talk about right now, but also got going on too. And I'm just ready for the weekend, but I'm gonna get it done this week. I am, because you know what? We have to. We have to. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I am just a little spent, not gonna lie. So definitely gonna figure out the calendar and take some days off, even if for days off to do nothing. Hopefully your Tuesday went well, and if it didn't, let's try to make it a good one for today. We can always change each day. It's one little act of whatever. It depends on, you know, what we're struggling with a day that can make a difference. But we're going to fill our cup. Isaiah chapter 30. We're going to be talking about futile confidence in Egypt, a rebellious people, how God will be gracious, and judgment on Assyria. Chapter 30 verse 1 goes like this. Woe to the rebellious children, says the Lord, who take counsel, but not of me, and who devise plans, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, who walk to go down to Egypt, and have not asked my advice, to strengthen themselves in the strength of the Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore the strength of Pharaoh shall be your shame, and trust in the shadow of Egypt shall be your humiliation. For his princes were at Zone, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people who could not benefit them, or be help, or benefit, but a shame and also a reproach. Verse 6, the burden against the beasts of the south, through the land of trouble and anguish, from which came the lioness and lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches on the backs of young donkeys, and their treasures on the humps of camels, to a people who shall not profit. For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore I have called her Rahab Hem Shebeth. Now go, write it before them on a tablet, and note it on a scroll, that it may be for a time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children who will not hear the law of the Lord, who say to the sayers, do not see, and to the prophets, do not prophesy to us right things. Speak to us smooth things, prophesy deceit, get out of the way and turn aside from the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease before us. Verse 12, therefore thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise the word and trust in oppression and perversity, and rely on them, therefore this iniquity shall be to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly in an instant. And he shall break it in like the breaking of the potter's vessel, which is broken in pieces, he shall not spare. So there shall not be found among its fragments a shard to take fire from the hearth, or to take water from the cistern. For thus says the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest you shall be saved, in quietness and confidence shall be your strength. But you would not, and you said, no, for we will flee on horses. Therefore you shall flee. And we will ride on swift horses, therefore those who pursue you shall be swift. Verse 17, 1,000 shall flee at the threat of one. At the threat of 5 you shall flee, till you are left as a pole on top of a mountain, and as a banner on a hill. Verse 18, therefore the God will wait, that he may be gracious to you, and therefore he will be exalted, and he may have mercy on you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are those who wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. You shall weep no more. He will be very gracious to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears it, he will answer you. And though the Lord gives the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teachers will not be moved into a corner anymore, but your eyes shall see your teachers. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it. Wherever you turn to the right Verse 21. Whenever you turn to the right hand, or whenever you turn to the left, you will also defile the covering of your images of silver, and the ornament of your molded images of gold. You will throw them away as an unclean thing. You will say to them, get away. Verse 23, then he will give the rain for your seed, with which you sow the ground, and the bread of the increase of the earth. It will be flat and plentiful. In that day your cattle will feed in large pastures. Likewise the oxen and the young donkeys that work the ground will eat cured fodder, which has been winnowed with the shovel and fan. There will be on every high mountain and on every high hill rivers and streams of water, in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall. Moreover, the light of the moon will be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be sevenfold, as the light of seven in the day of the Lord, in the day that the Lord binds up the bruise of his people, and heals the stroke of their wound. Verse 27, behold, the name of the Lord comes from afar, burning with his anger, and his burden is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue like a devouring fire. His breath is like an overflowing stream, which reaches up to the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of futility. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. Verse 29, you shall have a song as in the night when a holy festival is kept, in gladness of heart as when one goes with a flute, to come into the mountain of the Lord, to the mighty one of Israel. The Lord will cause his glorious voice to be heard, and show the descent of his arm with the indignation of his anger, and the flame of a devouring fire with scattering tempests and hailstones. For through the voice of the Lord Assyria will be beaten down, as he strikes with the rod. And in every place where the staff of punishment passes, which the Lord lays on him, it will be with the tambourines and harps, and in the battles of brandishing he will fight with it. Last verse 33, for Tophet was established of old. Yes, for the king it is prepared. He has made it deep and large. Its pyre is fire with much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, kindles it. Now some context behind chapter 30. God's people would experience humiliation and shame because they trusted in Egypt instead of the Lord. And Israel referred to Egypt as Rahab Hem Shebeth, or as Rahab who sits still. Rahab refers to a primeval monster dragon. Egypt's help was worthless. Now the rebellious and unfaithful nature of God's people was to be written down as testimony for future generations. As they announced the coming judgment using two familiar images, disaster would come like a crack in a wall causing a sudden collapse, or like a worthless vessel that a potter smashes into tiny pieces. Trust in God, not dependence on foreign alliances, was the desperate need of God's people, and horses may refer to the dependence on the military cavalry. Egypt and Assyria had horses, and the folly of dependence on foreign alliances and military was again indicated. Now God's people was assured of his love for them in the midst of his discipline, and nevertheless all the wise parent, the Lord, knows that his discipline is essential for his children's spiritual health. The verb to be gracious carries the idea of unmerited favor and denotes the attitude of a superior toward those under him. And mercy is related closely to the Hebrew word for womb, denoting the tender compassion that a mother shows to the child of her womb, or the brotherly feeling of those born from the same womb. And lastly, the Lord's judgment on Assyria takes form of a theophany, an appearance of God in a bodily form. The name of the Lord is another way of expressing the concept of God's presence and power. And God's name represents his character. God's tender compassion toward his people was emphasized, and God's wrath toward Assyria was revealed. The response of the Lord's people to him, obedience or disobedience, determined which aspect of the Lord's character, mercy or wrath, would apply in any given situation. And that is all for today's Bible study. Yes, the Old Testament, the Lord definitely decided which way he wanted to go. Jesus wasn't, he hadn't even thought of sending his only son for us at that point in time. So it was just like, how were you guys going to behave was how God was like, is how I'm going to treat today. What feelings do I got? And thankfully, you know, eventually he made the choices that he made. However, God just wanted our attention the whole entire time. Follow his commandments, follow his things, and he would give us the glories and riches of the earth. Unfortunately, we as people, we decided to, you know, Eve. We just decided to follow Satan's route a little bit, and here we are. But it's all good because we all have free will. We can make the decision to follow God, follow his commands, and live a good and prosperous life. I'll remember every riches, every material thing that you have, everything that you're doing and saving is great, because we live in the external world right now, but that does not go with you to heaven. So remember what really matters and what you can take, and that's only the people that you love, and thy neighbor. So food for thought for today. But yeah, I have to get this morning moving. I got to get this coffee flowing because it is not catching up with my brain. But it's gonna be a great day regardless. It is. So stay blessed, stay prayed up, and if you need prayer, please, I'd love to pray for you down below. And if not, just be sure to stay encouraged, and talk to you tomorrow.